Alright, video 5 on the commerce, killing the commerce beast. Yeshua's judgment parable is a story of condemnation, but not against those who have actively risen up against corporate franchises or committed acts of theft, robbery, drugs, prostitution, or even murder. It's against those who have passively refused to share that which has been given freely by God. The act of oppression, which God hates, will compel others to cope with life the only way they know how. In the last days, the Son of Man will declare, I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. And I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Therefore I had to do what I had to do to get food, clothing, and shelter, just like David and his men stole the showbread, and Yeshua and his disciples stole the donkey. You don't truly believe that God's Spirit is within us all. Otherwise, you wouldn't charge God when he comes for food, clothing, and shelter. All of you merchant creeps have turned God's law into a way to limit and restrict one's life, liberty, and happiness, so that your selfish ass may have more while others have less. Yeshua didn't come to abolish his Father's law, but he came to fulfill his Father's law by abolishing your commercialized version of his Father's law. You have made God's law a burden to the people by making it something to be feared, whereas it was created to serve them so that they may experience what true freedom in God really is. Y'all haven't made yourself equal and one with God. No. You have placed yourself above and beyond God. You didn't make yourself a servant of love, but have instead made yourself love's master. Did you really think that you wouldn't be punished for such an act of treason against God and his kingdom? Prepare yourself for the storm that is about to come your way, because these be the days of vengeance, so that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Strike them, destroy them, do not make any covenants with them, and show them no mercy. For they will turn your children away from me to follow after money. If you do, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and you shall be destroyed suddenly. Destroy, break, and burn all their temples, altars, and images, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. He has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all peoples. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you are a people of many, but because you are a people of few. A people without the fear of man or what they can do to you. A people that has been hated, picked on, and defamed by the world, the black sheep and the outcast. A people that has been oppressed, afflicted, and accused of being a criminal for that which they do or may not do in times of afflictions. It is not you who are the guilty ones. It is they who oppressed and afflicted you. They are the guilty ones, those who compelled you to cope with life the only way you knew how. I have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the weak things of the world to confound the mighty. Yes, it is the low and despised that I have chosen to bring to nothing the things that are. God has now brought you out of the house of the merchant bondmen with a great mighty hand, and hath redeemed your birthright, so that you may put on his garments of vengeance to receive the justice that you so rightfully deserve. As you go forth, though, desire not their silver and gold, lest you fall into its snare, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Those who commit acts of robbery, theft, and fraud against corporate franchises may not know what they are doing, but God is using them to cast his righteous judgments upon the earth. For example, I speak as a man that in my younger days I too went about robbing corporate franchises and also robbed the churches made with hands, taking their merchandise and leaving them an offering of piss on the pews and shit in their offering plate. But it wasn't the act of stealing and desecration that was sin. It was the fact that I did it for myself and not God. God fully intended to have those churches robbed and shat on, not only as a punishment unto them, but to reveal to me their evil, because after I was arrested for those burglaries, the discovery revealed that these churches committed insurance fraud by lying and saying that many things were stolen that were not stolen, so that they could obtain more money and more merchandise. God was showing me where their love was, not in God, but in money. And in my younger days, I also was guilty of being not so much a lover of money, but wanting it so that I could use it to purchase drugs and merchandise. I was most certainly not a lover of God back then, but he definitely works in mysterious ways, and little by little, God began revealing his mysteries, and many of those were revealed in times of affliction. Those who have been slain and persecuted for that which they may or may not do in times of oppression are the prophets and saints, or chosen ones that God refers to in Revelation. He is not referring to those who stood passively behind a pulpit promoting commercialism, oppression, and hypocrisy. Although many of them have been slain, and many to come shall be slain too. But they don't fall into the category of prophet and saint because they judge by sight rather than righteous judgment. They have yet to be able to look at the world in its reversed image. They see only what their ungodly government sees. Just as when you write the word red rum in all capital letters and hold it up to a mirror, it'll read murder. So is in the same way as the world. The world is a reflection of the things in heaven, but they are not a true representation of those things. If one wants to see the world in its truest form, then they must look at it in reverse. They must look in the opposite direction, because God is opposite of the world, or better put, he opposes the world. If the world says to go one way, then you ought to run the other way. And by doing so, you will run smack dab right into the will of God, because we ought to obey God rather than men. People of the world look into a mirror and understand that the image is reversed, but fail to see the hidden mystery within, that God is the reversed image of the world. They look into a mirror and truth is staring them right in the face, but they don't understand the truth, so they just walk away forgetting who they truly are and where they truly came from, as they continue on as corporate robots enslaved to a lifetime of laboring in vain for the Federal United States Corporation rather than God. They know not how to beat the oppressors, so they figure if they can't beat them, then they might as well join them. When they hear about a mass shooting, bombing, or killing at a corporate franchise, church, or synagogue, or one that went up in flames, they become all sorrowful, saying, "Oh, that poor pastor," or "that poor merchant. What is this world coming to?" And then they condemn the guiltless. But God says, "Poor pastor, poor merchant. What about my poor people that they have led into bondage with the great deceivers of the nations by telling them to go down to their local DMV to get a corporate identity, and then to get a corporate education and then a corporate job so that they can make lots of corporate money to fill their corporate offering plates? What about those poor souls? Do they not matter? Why can't you see that those pastors are only reaping what they have sown? They have sown wickedness by making merchandise of my people, so they shall reap wickedness. I told you before that making merchandise of God's children is a death penalty. I form the light, and I create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You will drink of the cup of red rum in heaven, but in earth you shall drink of the cup of murder, death, and destruction. Wake up to reality and embrace my truth. My love isn't all about hugs and kisses, and it's certainly not about telling people what they want to hear. No, it's about telling them the truth that they don't want to hear, so that their heart, which has been hardened by the lies of the world, can be broken. An unbroken heart that has been filled with lies of hypocrisy is unable to see, hear, and bear the truth. But once they see the truth and then walk in it, they shall be freed from the bondage of earthly commercial laws and traditions. Instead of crying boo-hoo every time there is an attack on the corporate world, you ought to be celebrating and washing your feet in the blood of these wicked scumbags, saying that there is a righteous God that judges in the earth. Just like Yeshua, I don't pray for those of the world. I pray for those who are not of the world, so that they may reconnect with who they are and where they came from, so that they may return to where they came from to be exposers of hypocrisy. I pray that they be made perfectly one with who they really are, and not some upside-down, commercialized, copied version of that perfect one. I pray that they may be kept away from the wolves.
Took my first breath where the muddy rises, spills into the Gulf of Mexico. The skyline's colored by chemical plants, put bread on the table of the working man, where the working man does his best to provide safety and shelter for kids and a wife. Giving a little of his soul every day, making overtime to keep the wolves away. dig my daddy's grave. It happened on a French-owned tanker ship, spilling poison in the Galveston Bay. Well, the liquid fire filled his lungs and his eyes silenced any more cries. Cold in the green, death stinging pain, he fought like hell to keep the wolves away. For the next few years, Dad was sick as a dog, but he made recovery just to spite the odds. The settlement came and we moved out of town where the sky isn't heavy with refinery clouds. Yeah, he's still alive, he's doing good, he's in his 50s, but the money's running out. He's painting for pennies, so I'm going for broke with every song I play. 'Cause now it's my turn to keep the wolves away.